So in this video, we're going to give you the one exercise that has honestly blown up my shoulders. I'm going to give you what it is, how to perform it, why I believe it is the one that really did blow up my shoulders. And as a secondary bonus point in this video, I'm going to give you the points on how to train so you never get like shoulder pain, shoulder impingement, and other stuff that can mess you up. And the reason why that's important is I actually had that in my right shoulder here. You can kind of tell from this photo, I believe. I believe you can see it just. This shoulder was more protracted and rounded forward than the other one was. Now, the problem that gave me was when trying to train my chest, it would really just take over and I would never be able to really engage my right pec, which was obviously a big problem and a big pain point, like quite literally, because I would have pain in the shoulder and not be able to grow a chest. So me as a passionate gym goer meant I wasn't really able to make that much gains. Now, the beauty of fixing this issue and also building a good set of shoulders, it gives you a nice width to the physique, which hopefully that's what we've come here for. Nice big set of cap delts, and that's what we're specifically looking at in this video. I'm not going to go too much into the rear delts, but we can do that in separate videos. This is really going to be the cap of the delt that's going to give you that thick look. We're not going to look too much into the front delts, specifically the side delt exercises and why I believe this one's going to be the best. And hopefully we can apply this for you, program it accordingly, execute it accordingly, and then develop a good set of shoulders for you over the long term. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tom Sergey and I run the Gorilla Platoon, a online physique transformation program for guys where we achieve results like this. So my promise to you is by the end of this video, you will know the exercise that blew up my shoulders. We're going to go into that next, and then we're going to also speak about how to avoid shoulder impingement. Let's go. So the exercise that has honestly had the greatest impact on my shoulders has been cable side lateral raises, specifically lying down. I know, seems like a little bit of a fuck on to set up. Ideally, you could get these cuffs, but I'm going to break down why it's worked so well for me. So the ability to hit the cap of the delt, you've probably heard, is lateral raises. I don't believe that's news to you. I know if you've researched any form of fitness, that is probably common advice online, and it's pretty good advice. Now, if you use a dumbbell versus a cable, let's understand why the cable could be quote-unquote better. With a dumbbell, it is at the bottom, when your arm is down by its side, you have zero resistance because of the joints being stacked on top of each other, gravity running through them, the dumbbell in your hand. Now, as you come up and all the way to the top, you have all the resistance at the top. Now, you are weakest when you hit the muscle in the shortened position, i.e. when you contract the muscle. So this exercise is good, but it leaves gains off the table. The reason I say that is, cool, the exercise is hardest where you are weakest, so you are only determined by how much load you can use to that point. But where we're missing out on some gains is from pretty much where your arm is straight down to, let's say, not all the way up, let's say halfway in between your arm being out at the top and straight down at the bottom. There is gains there that we could stack on with that. As well, most gyms, they either go up if you're in kilos by 2s and if you're in pounds by 5s. It's a fair jump to try and add a little bit more load, but you may find you can get that 15 reps on that certain load. When you use a cable stack, you can really dial it in just that little bit more. And the reason I say that is, cool, you've got the cable stack and whatever increment, I mean, let's be honest, all cable stacks, wherever you go, are completely different. There's never one size fits all. So you'll find the weight that you can do a certain amount on. And then what you can do is you can get the little plates and attach them onto the cable for just that little increment. So it does make progression a little bit better. Now, to go back to the point of this against a dumbbell exercise, if you look here, this is the bottom position, and imagine I was stood up straight, my arms would be down by my side. Now, the cable will want to pull me back that way. So straight away from the off, there is tension on the delt. So there's money to be made as we come from this position here. Now, weirdly enough, when you do this exercise, the tension or the load almost drops off as you get closer towards the top in the weakened position, or where you are weakest in the shortened position. And where you are strongest, as we know from a lot of videos I've spoke about, you are stronger in the lengthened position, which means we can flip the script. We can really dial in more load on this exercise in the lengthened position because of the resistance curve that this then sets up. You can see now how it can get that cutting edge against people that are just doing it with dumbbells. Now, you may also think, why the bench? Why can't I do it standing? Well, we know for hypertrophy, we want to put all of the tension and all the effort on the working muscle, right? So if you're stood up there's still effort to stand up straight with good posture and do the movement. Of course there is. If I can support everything apart from the working joint and muscle, am I going to be able to put more effort and direct intent on the working muscle? You would say so, yeah, because we've supported everything else. Can I cheat? No. Can I use the bench as a tool? Yeah, because I can drive my feet into the floor. I can drive my back against the bench. So my bracing ability is a lot greater than what it would be as if I was stood upright. Just as we know that like any seated supported machine is going to be more efficient than if you actively have to stand up and support yourself. So that's why I believe the setup with this is quite important, quite beneficial to you. Now look, another little tip. With the height of the cable, it wants to be set up with the height of your shoulders so it aligns itself quite nicely. As you do this movement, one thing I want you to imagine, when you go through the up phase of the movement, your knuckles, want to imagine they're trying to reach out and touch the furthest point away from you. So when you you push outwards in this direction here. Now, why do I say that? Pushing out and away makes it very hard to contract the trap, because contracting the trap, you want to pull up and inwards or up and back if you want to hit that upper trap region. So if we do the opposite, we only put the tension on the delt. Like if you do that right now, if you take your arm, try and push it out its socket a little bit, and then come up, fuck me, that delt's like firing. If you don't do that and you come up, the trap will engage. And you didn't come to this exercise or this video even for big traps, you came to it for cap delts. So that's a very, very critical cue. Push out and come the longest way up, almost in like a D shape as you go up. See here how it starts to drop off towards the top. Nice and slow on the way down as always. Tempo is your greatest friend on this. Get the pause here and continue to just glide through the movement. Very, very nice exercise. What people may get wrong with this is they'll go from here and straight back. We're not going backwards in a Y shape. We're kind of coming the longest route up, almost in like a D shape basically, and coming out the longest way, pushing out as far as we can. If you can really dial that in, you'll notice the difference massively. Tempo, everything. Getting that pause at the bottom. Why is the pause at the bottom so important? Well, remember we spoke about there's tension in the lengthened position. So cash in that pause, create that tension there, keep it, and that's going to allow you to get some more gains with this movement. And then the beauty of it as well, and this is another thing I didn't mention, you can drive intensity when it's really fucking hard. Now, let me just go back to the rep before, and let's watch what happens when it starts to get hard. I can drive against the bench, I can push myself in. My form doesn't break down because I'm so well supported. Now, when you do start to fail, apply through partials. This is where you'll lose the range, but we keep the tension. And that is just the last way that you can fucking toast off that muscle until it's absolutely fucked. Now, if you haven't got these cuffs, that's annoying. Try get them if you can. Most gyms do have them. Why are the cuffs so good? They just take grip strength out of the equation. And as well, you are almost like shortening the moment arm distance, which may allow you to lift some more load. Now, if you could put the cuff on here. That would also work really well. You'd be able to lift even more load because the distance would be shorter, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter. I would just keep them on the forearms, take grip strength out of the equation. If you can't do that, I would just hold normal handles. It wouldn't be as good, but it wouldn't be that far off either. If you were that bothered, you could strap your hands to the D handles. But honestly, by this point, we're really fucking about, aren't we? We've dragged a bench over from the dumbbell presses. They're going to kick off at us. We've took a full stack up. Well, both stacked, and then we've got this here. So I do appreciate that, and I can empathise. It is a little bit of a nose with the setup, but at the end of the day, like, who fucking cares about them? We've come here for big gains, and we're going to drag that bench over, set up, absolutely execute on it, and you're going to leave with big boy capped happy delts. So I really do believe this. Well, I know this is the exercise that has honestly given me a good cap set of delts. If you haven't done it before, do enjoy it, and I hope this is like new news to you with the coaching cues we've spoke about. The ability to get that delt short and hit it in the lengthened position as well is really where we can make some good gains. So we've addressed that point of the video. Now what we'll look at is how to avoid shoulder impingement. So the reason most people will get shoulder impingement is because they will press with their arms out at right angle here. And now I want you to picture, you know those hoovers where they're on like a circular ball and you can pivot them around corners? Well, imagine you've got that hoover, turned it all the way to one side, locked it against the end that you can, and then drive it forward, like trying to do the hoovering, eventually it's just going to buckle, isn't it? Because it's against the edge of the housing, grinding away. Well, that's what people are doing to their shoulders when they're doing dumbbell press, either flat incline or shoulder press. And no wonder you're gonna tear up your rotator cuff. You're gonna grind up the shoulder away because you sat it in the edge of the housing, then added a shit ton of load because you're thinking progressive overload, get bigger and stronger. Like, of course, people get fucked shoulders, and they'll do the same on the bench press as well, where the shoulders won't be back and locked in position, and they'll just use the shoulder to get back up. That was the mistake I made, and that's why I end up with like a fucked shoulder. The way you get round and fix that is honestly you move your shoulder into the middle of the housing by moving the position of your elbow. So any movement, it doesn't matter what it is, think when you are pressing, you want to have that elbow a 45 degree from your torso. No matter whether it's shoulder press, incline press, flat press, it doesn't matter what it is. If you can bring your elbow into that position, it will not grind away your shoulders. And another little benefit you will have from that, not only will you not get shoulder impingement, you will gain range of motion. Because if you do this right now, try pull down from here, you'll get this far. Bring it into the middle of the housing at 45, you can get all the way down here. Which means you can get more range of motion, more stretch. Which, for shoulders, to be fair, you only need to go down to about your ears. But when we're chest pressing, that will serve you to get a greater stretch across the pec and bring the hand closer. So, honestly, just make that little cue for now. Rule of thumb, elbow position, 45 degrees from the torso, you won't get any shoulder impingement moving forward. If you found value in this video, hit the subscribe just so you get more videos like this. And if you've got any other questions or videos that you think I've not covered on the channel so far, then drop it in the comments and I will make one with your interest in mind. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.